have to say, Pantheon hasn't been the most consistent champion for me. But regardless of whether I win or lose, he is so much fun. He is such a lane bully, and at the beginning of the game you always go in feeling like I'm gonna crush my opponent. So you're gonna learn a little bit about how I do that, and you're gonna learn a little bit about what are the different ways to impact your lane and to impact the map. Just like with Karen, I try my best to impact the map. So without getting too deep into that now, I want you guys to know that, as usual, you can skip through the video to find the parts you like. There'll be timestamps in the description below. I'll be starting here with the overview of Pantheon, and I'll talk about his abilities. Then I'll jump into the practice tool, and I'll show you how to trade from level 1 and up to level 5. And once you get your ultimate, what you start to do in Pantheon to really make games turn in your favor. So let's get started and talk a little bit about Pantheon, the Unbreakable Spear. I feel like Pantheon is a little bit like a Spartan warrior. He seems to have a lot of, he's got a 300 Spartan feel to him. His illustrations and the way that his emotes work make him seem like an invincible warrior. And there's a purpose for that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that his lore has Pantheon actually being a god in a mortal body. So he's sort of struggling with that, and you can get hints of that in his overview here. Once an unwilling host to the aspect of war, Atreus survived when the celestial power within him was slain, refusing to succumb to a blow that tore stars from the heavens. In time, he learned to embrace the power of his own immortality, and the stubborn resilience that goes along with it. Atreus now poses the divine as Pantheon reborn, his unbreakable will fueling the fallen aspect's weapons on the field of battle. So, Pantheon, you can read his lore from the Riot's website, but he's basically a warrior, and a badass one at that. His passive mortal will, all his attacks and spells gain a stack of mortal will. When he hits 5 stacks, it will empower the next ability that he uses. This is true for his Q, his W, and his E. You can't have a mortal will R. But, stacking up his passive to 5 stacks improves his Q, his W, and E. So they all have a slight difference on what they can do when mortal will is stacked. Q is his spear. He can charge it and throw it, dealing the most damage to an enemy in front, and then less damage to subsequent enemies. He can also tap Q to just thrust the spear in a direction, as you can see in the second animation. So that's throwing it, and here's tapping it. Alright. His W shield vault. Pantheon dashes to a target, damaging and stunning them. Really simple ability. When he has mortal will, then he will attack them 3 times, as you'll see here. You see how I attacked him 3 times? So without mortal will, it's W1 auto. With mortal will, it's W3 autos. And that's important. You'll see about that in a second. Aegis Assault. This is a cool ability that makes him invincible to any damage from a certain direction. So when he uses the shield, any damage from the bottom left direction there will be entirely nullified. It's a really great trading tool. And finally, his ultimate is called Grand Starfall. Pantheon composes himself and then leaps into the air, landing in a chosen location as a comet. It's by far the best ability in the game for impacting the map. It's up there with Twisted Fate Ultimate and with a Shen Ultimate. So, you only see him moving in a short distance here, but actually, he will move. He can use it from a really long distance, like the mid lane to the bot lane. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's it for his overview and abilities. Let me jump into a practice duel and show you guys a little bit of how you trade with Pantheon and some how-tos on how to win with Pantheon in the mid lane. Because of his ultimate, I think he's best utilized in the mid lane so that he can roam around and ultimate into other lanes. So let me show you how that looks. Alright, so Pantheon, here you can see him with his Pulse Fire skin that he recently got. It's a pretty cool skin. I mean, this guy's such a man that he can just bake bread from the sky. What a boss. Alright, level 1. Let me quickly tell you why Pantheon is awesome. I told you even though he's not very consistent, you always enter every game thinking, I'm gonna dominate my opponent. And the reason is, his kit is built to dominate your opponent. Because he's got an easy stun, a point and click stun, and he's got a good amount of damage. So, before we get into like all his abilities and how you use them, let me just start by saying Shield Vault is always the first ability you want to learn. It gives you 3 attacks right after using it, like boom boom boom. And that's super good because the ruin that you run on Pantheon is Conquer. You stack your Conquer up and you need 1 more auto attack, and you have a full stacked Conquer, which means you can trade very early at a superior level without even, basically doing anything but just pressing 1 button. That is a really amazing ability with Conquer. And the other ruins that are of importance here are his Biscuit Delivery and Time Warp Tonic. So the strategy is level 1, you go in, maybe you take some melee minions, but you just jump on them when you can. You get your Conquer up, that's up, and you keep trading. Maybe you potion because he auto-attacked you once, so the minions started hitting you. Alright, so you've got him down to half health. Alright, now you're ready to do it again. You come again. And before the first wave's even done, you've burned through 2 potions. And you've also got them down to almost no health. Now if they're smart, the first time you do that, they'll back off and they'll just let you push the wave in. And if that's the case, wait a second, let the wave come to you. You want to get that level 2 and all in them. If they're being really safe when you get level 2, force the wave in and take it back. So I almost always start Pantheon that way, just right up front, like, let's fight, let's go. And the reason is because it's so easy. It's just 1 button, click stun. You can go to a game and try this right now. I guarantee you'll outtrade them. And then you'll learn level 2. Then the next thing you want to do when you're level 2, you've got a 5 stacked Mortal Will, which is, you start with that, by the way, at the beginning of the game. But level 2, you can go in and do the same exact thing. Boom, boom, boom. Full Conquer, 1 stack Mortal Will hit, and auto. And just like that, you can knock somebody down to about half health. But since you already started trading at level 1, you might even kill them since you take Ignite. The other thing to realize is that his Mortal Will do critical damage to the target if they're below 20% health. So you see here, Comet Spear critically strikes enemies below 20% health for 155, plus 22 physical damage. And you add the 33 plus 11 physical damage because you get Mortal Will bonus very quickly since you get the 3 attacks plus 1 auto attack. Point being, let's just charge this to show you what I mean. Look at the red bar here, right? Let Conquer tick out. So level 2, you start with your shield vault again. You get the Conquer stacks up, and you build 1 more auto attack to build another Immortal Will ability. So it's W, bam bam bam, 2 more auto attacks, and then Q. And that'll be your Immortal Will Q, which does critical damage. And since from level 1 you are trading really hard, they'll be low enough and you can all in them. The other option they have is to back out and let you take farm, which is perfectly fine. The strategy you want to run when you're playing Pantheon isn't to 100% freeze the wave. It's to push the wave, knock your opponent out of the lane, and just force quick backs. Chug potions. Don't be afraid to use your potions. Use your potions as much as possible. Get the wave in, get your opponent out of the lane, back to base. If your jungler comes, then freeze the wave. Wait for your jungler to say they're coming before you freeze a wave. You'll get a feeling for that, right? Your first back, there's 2 options. You can take a longsword or boots. I like taking a longsword so that I can farm the minions in a turret that are about to hit. But if they're not going to hit, then taking boots is okay too. But longsword's always better because the same thing applies. You come back and you've got all your corrupting potions. That shouldn't stop you. You just want to get in on them, right? Now level 3 comes along, and yet again you've been provided another tool to dominate your lane. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it prevents them from trading. So in the game that I'll show you, I think I was playing against the Galio, and if he goes to Justice Punch me, he jumps in, I'll block his damage, I'll block his auto, and if he uses his Q, well, he shouldn't use his Q, but a lot of people don't know it blocks damage. He uses his Q and it'll block that too. That is all his abilities. As soon as I block it, then I jump on him, and we start trading. So basically, the trade is just easy to win if you block it up front. Of course, you could also start your trade the same way like I was telling you before, which is, I'm just trying to get my mortal. So let's just say you're attacking minions, you get 5 stacks. You can do your entire trade, which is W, 2 autos, a Q, and then Aegis of Assault, and back out. So W, auto, Q, and then back out. It does a lot of damage, and that last bit prevents them from trading onto you too heavily. Alright, so either let them engage onto you and use your Aegis Assault to block the engage and follow up. That's if you're playing someone like Galio, or sometimes like a Talon might run in at you, and right when he jumps in on you, you block it with Aegis Assault, and then you just start autoing him. Alright. So that's how you play your laning phase. You don't care so much about the minions, you just want to knock your opponent out of the lane. You use your jungler to help you do that. It's the easiest gank assist ever if they come, but even if they don't, you can do it on your own. One thing to be aware of is that when you're playing Pantheon, you don't have any escape tools, but you do have engage tools. So the best place to put your pink wards or your wards are at your flanks. If you put your ward down here, you have your flanks warded, and then the only place they can come from is, through the river wash here, or through the other side flank. So, let's just say, if your jungler is on your side that you warded, like over here, you really just hug this side. And if the jungler comes from the river, then you can just block the damage and run back. If your jungler's on this side and you've got this flank warded, you can stand in the middle because you can kind of cheat to one side where your jungler's at if they decide to come. And the other thing I like to do is, if the wave is here, I'll stand towards my flank, and usually laners stand opposite of each other. So this will push them towards that direction. Always push the enemy laner towards your jungler if they're going to gank, so that it's an easy engage for them. They start running back, and then you run for it. You get the stun, your jungler runs in, does some damage, and you can secure a kill really easy with Pantheon. So I talked about a couple concepts, and I'll just quickly go over them one more time. Trade hard, trade heavy, chug potions, back a lot, buy items, like a lot. Don't worry so much about getting tons of minions, you're really just trying to knock your lane opponent out of the lane to gain control that way. It's mutual destruction. Ward your flanks because you don't have any way to get out. And finally, the last bit that you need to know is obviously use Pantheon's ultimate to impact other lanes. So the same exact thing. You might have an enemy champion here, and you decide you're going to go in like this. You knock them out of lane. They get you down to like 50% health, but you chug 2 potions. They're really close to low, so you can stick around for a lane gank, or you can push your wave and run bot. And you can ult from here. Like, look, I'm right next to my lane, and I'm already ulting all the way into the bot lane here. Boom. You're doing tons of damage. Maybe getting flashes, getting kills for your bot lane. And you just do it over and over. It's got a long cooldown at level 6. So, the initial strategy is just going to be like lane, 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 push jungler, or push the mid laner out, push the mid laner out, and then when you got your ult up, jump bottom or jump top, because it's got a very good range. Like from here, I can almost get to the top lane. Now, I probably would have waited. I wouldn't have jumped to this spot. I'd run a little further, like maybe right here. That way I can go up behind them a little bit. So you want to lead Pantheon's ultimate. You don't want to like stand right on top of them. If I am an enemy, they can see my ultimate really quickly. So you'll see when I use it here. When you see that little countdown right there, they can see all of this. So they have a lot of time to react. And that's pretty much it. That's like the thing you want to do in Pantheon is you want to push your lane out. You want to chug potions. When your ultimate comes up, jump to a lane, or use it in a... you can also use it on your own lane to get back to lane, but I think it's got too long of a cooldown to justify that unless your jungler's nearby and you think you can get a kill. So impact other lanes as much as possible, and just constantly fight. Pantheon is a lane bully for this reason. He's just good at, trading. So, cheers,